You order $25 of food. At checkout, you pay almost $39, but the restaurant receives less than 19. So where did the rest of your money go? It did not all go to the driver. It did not all go to the delivery app. And after paying everyone involved, the restaurant may actually lose money on your order. To understand how, we are going to follow every dollar, from your bank account to the restaurant, the driver, the government, and finally the delivery platform. Our example begins with a $25 order, a burger, fries, and a drink. The price displayed on the menu is exactly $25. That number feels simple, but it only describes the food, not the delivery. At checkout, the first charge appears, a service fee. For our example, $3.75. Then comes a delivery fee, $2.99. The order is already approaching $32. But we are not finished. Sales tax adds another $2.06. The exact amount depends on where you live. Finally, you add a $5 tip. The $25 order now costs $38.80, nearly $14 more than the number that convinced you to order. But here is the first surprise. The driver does not receive the service fee, and the driver does not automatically receive the delivery fee. Those charges go into the platform's system. The driver is paid separately. DoorDash says its base contribution can range from $2 to more than $10 per offer. The amount depends on distance, time, and how desirable the delivery is. For our model, we will use $4. The driver also receives the entire $5 tip. That produces $9 in gross driver earnings, but $9 is not $9 of profit. The driver may still pay for fuel, vehicle maintenance, insurance, self-employment taxes, and the unpaid time spent waiting for the restaurant to finish the order. If the complete delivery takes 30 minutes, the $9 may look acceptable. If it takes an hour, it looks very different. So the driver receives $9, the government receives $2.06 in sales tax. That accounts for $11.06. But we still have more than $27 to follow. And now we reach the restaurant. Delivery platforms commonly charge restaurants a percentage of the food subtotal. DoorDash currently advertises delivery plans with commissions of 15, 25, and 30%. Higher commissions can buy the restaurant more reach and lower delivery fees for customers. For our order, we will use the middle plan, 25%. 25% of $25 is $6.25. The platform removes that amount before paying the restaurant. The restaurant therefore receives $18.75. You paid $38.80. The restaurant receives less than half of that amount. But $18.75 is not the restaurant's profit. It still has to produce the meal. And this is where the calculation becomes uncomfortable, because restaurants already operate on extremely thin margins. For a typical restaurant, food costs have historically consumed roughly 33 cents of every sales dollar. Labor consumes another 33 cents. Rent, electricity, insurance, repairs, and other expenses can consume another 29 cents. That leaves approximately 5 cents of pre-tax profit from every dollar of normal sales. On a regular $25 restaurant order, that 5% margin would be only $1.25. But now add a $6.25 platform commission. If the restaurant charges the same menu price and every cost remains unchanged, the original $1 profit turns into a $5 loss. One delivery, $5 gone. So why would any restaurant accept the order? That question is the key to the entire delivery business. Because the restaurant's costs do not all behave in the same way. The ingredients are consumed by this specific order, the packaging is also new, but the rent was already due. The kitchen was already open. The lights were already on, and in many cases, the employees were already standing there. If the restaurant is quiet, an additional delivery order may contribute money toward costs that would exist anyway, even when that order looks terrible in a traditional margin calculation. Restaurants can also increase their delivery menu prices. DoorDash says most restaurants do this and recommends keeping the increase below 10% compared with in-store pricing. That higher price can recover part of the commission, but the platform fee does not disappear. It is simply pushed toward the customer. Now, return to the money. The restaurant received $18.75. The driver received $9, including the tip. The government received $2.06. That leaves $8.99. Does the platform simply keep it? Not exactly. The platform began by collecting $6.25 from the restaurant. It also collected $6.74 in customer service and delivery fees. That is $12.99. But $4 of that funded our example driver's base pay. The remaining $8.99 stays with the platform before its other expenses. Payment processing still costs money. So do refunds, customer support, insurance, promotional discounts, software development, advertising, fraud, and the enormous technical system required to match customers, restaurants, and drivers in real time. This creates the second surprise. The platform touches a large portion of the money. But touching money is not the same as keeping it as profit. In the final quarter of 2025, DoorDash processed more than 900 million orders. It generated almost $4 billion in revenue, but its reported net income was $213 million. If you divided that net income by every reported order, you would get roughly 24 cents per order. That is not the literal profit from your specific delivery. DoorDash operates in many markets and categories, but it demonstrates the real strategy. The platform does not need to make $10 of profit from one order. It needs to make a small amount across an enormous number of orders. More than 900 million orders in 3 months. A few cents become millions. A few dollars become billions. The platform's real advantage is not one expensive burger. It is scale. And scale changes everything. More orders allow several deliveries to be grouped together. More drivers reduce waiting times. More restaurants attract more customers. More customers attract more restaurants. The system becomes more useful as it becomes larger. And once a platform dominates an area, leaving it becomes difficult. The restaurant wants access to customers. The customer wants access to restaurants. The driver wants access to delivery offers. The platform positions itself between all three. Then it charges more than one side for creating the connection. The restaurant pays a commission for demand. The customer pays fees for convenience. And the driver supplies the physical labor. This is why asking who receives the $25 is slightly misleading. The system creates additional charges around the original $25. Then it distributes those charges differently. Our customer paid $38.80. The restaurant received $18.75 before its own costs. The driver received $9 before personal expenses. The government received $2.06. And the platform retained $8.99 before its operating expenses. Nobody simply stole $14, but almost every participant paid something for the transaction to exist. The customer paid for convenience, the restaurant paid for access, the driver paid with time and vehicle costs, and the platform paid to operate the marketplace. There is, however, a much cheaper version of the same order. Pickup. On DoorDash's current marketplace plans, pickup orders carry a 6% commission instead of 15 to 30% for delivery. On a $25 order, the restaurant would receive $23.50 before its own costs. That is $4.75 more than under our 25% delivery example. Order directly from the restaurant and the difference may become even larger. There is no delivery driver, no delivery logistics, and potentially no marketplace commission. Of course, you must collect the food yourself. Convenience disappears, and that is precisely what the delivery platform is selling. Not the burger, not the fries, not the drink. It sells the removal of effort. The app removes the phone call. It removes the drive. It removes the search for parking. It removes the wait inside the restaurant. Each small inconvenience disappears, then each disappearance receives a price. That is why a $25 meal can become a $39 transaction without any single charge looking enormous. $3 here, $2 there, a tip, a tax, a slightly higher menu price. No individual number feels shocking until you add them together. And this is the final trick. The app anchors your attention on the food price. $25. That is the number you use when deciding whether to order. The real total appears only after the food is selected, and you are already emotionally committed. By then, the restaurant has prepared the photograph. The app has shown you the meal, and hunger has done the rest. Canceling over a few extra dollars feels harder than never beginning the order. So, the small fees survive, one after another. The next time $25 of food becomes a $39 checkout, look beyond the delivery fee. The restaurant may receive less than $19. The driver may depend heavily on your tip, and the platform may earn only a small profit after operating the entire system. The $14 did not disappear. It purchased convenience from several different people at once, and the simplest way to keep more of your money with the restaurant is still the least convenient one. Order directly and pick it up yourself.